it.
Welcome to the Nakia Franklin Show, where we learn and grow from those who have done the work and manifested phenomenal success in business and in life. Today, I have the CEO of Fantom LLC, Brandon L Fant, to share a little about himself, his business, and a moment of truth that was a breakthrough for Fantom LLC. Brandon, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Hey, thank you for having me, Nakia. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Brandon, let's get down to it. Let's have this conversation. Please share a little about Fantom LLC and how your faith is having your business thrive instead of merely surviving. Now, remember, we're going to definitely have this conversation and we're going to be engaging. So let us just know what's going on.
Yeah, no doubt. So we started Fantom back in November 2017. Up until that point, I was working in corporate America for an insurance company as an adjuster. But Fantom pretty much has like an American football training tool. It's the Fantom Throw Football, and it helps athletes practice throwing and catching around the clock whenever they want, just removing all training deterrents, any deterrent that an athlete may have in not being able to practice whenever they want to. So this product enables them to throw and catch an active ball like somebody else is throwing it to them. So it simulates game-like action. We started the company back in 17. We started with 1,000 pieces in my one-bedroom apartment. So I moved those in there, and we began like selling it through e-commerce channels, our website, and Amazon.
Wow. So you apparently have a partnership because you're saying we. How many people are on your team?
Yeah. So it started with a few different partners, but it's evolved. They had prior obligations that they had to kind of go back to. So it's really been like a couple of friends that have just kind of stepped in and helped me when I needed, especially when we started off. But at this present time, it's all evolving. I outsource a lot of the stuff that I can't really do. But, right now it's really just me doing everything. That wasn't the case back then, but I didn't get to this point alone by any means. I had some phenomenal people who helped me along the way. But right now it's just me managing all the load.
Wow. Awesome. Okay. So just quick question. Have you played yourself personally?
Yeah. So like I played some football growing up, a lot of 7-on-7. I played some high school football in Asheville, North Carolina. That's where I'm from. And then I played a little bit in college at Shepherd University up in West Virginia. So it was an opportunity, really the product was prototyped unknowingly when I was in a pursuit to play college football. I had a couple of bad situations to arise throughout my college career. So that set me on a quest to kind of play football. And while I was on that quest is when I prototyped the football training tool, the Fantom Throw. And I used it to help me, get catches around the clock. And upon graduating and entering corporate America, one thing led to another. We began trying to find the different components to put the thing together to create a prototype, a working prototype to help share with the world. And we did just that.
Okay, cool. So, Brandon, we have a few questions about the real world of entrepreneurship. And thank you for sharing that. So we're going to get into this part. So we did a survey and posed this question. What would you ask someone who has produced millions of dollars, not billions of dollars in business, right? So this is an actual question for you. When it comes to knowing who to trust and who to work with, what has your biggest lesson been?
Yeah, so I would say that you want to definitely try to find the best person for the job, find the person with the best credentials who have done exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish in your business. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs maybe want to start with family and friends to help build out their team. And I find that not only in my story, but in the stories of other entrepreneurs that maybe I've crossed paths with, that's not always the best move, is bringing on family and friends. So you definitely want to go with what's, somebody who's trustworthy, someone who's hungry for an opportunity, has a willingness to learn and adapt, and they believe in the brand. If they're willing to learn, you can teach them anything that it is that you kind of want to accomplish with your company and your brand. But also, if they have that foundation as far as what you want to accomplish and, have that drive to do it, I think that that you'll be very pleased with the people you bring on and the people you work with.
Okay. So can you give me an example of an experience that you had?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I touched on a little earlier, I do a lot of outsourcing with stuff that I'm not great with. So I want to begin to I have began to delegate. I guess when I look back at my journey, I would say that I delegated early in the process, whether it was with production, marketing, digital creation of graphic design and so forth. So creating logos, for example, finding somebody to do logos at a very reasonable cost, willing to use tools such as LinkedIn or Fiverr to find people who I know for a fact this is what they do. Whatever it is I'm looking for is what they do for a living. So, or finding people to manage my Instagram page that I know that they have created large growth through social media before on that specific platform. So talking with them, negotiating with them a reasonable price, and making sure that they have all the tools required so that they can to create value and growth for your business. So the one that I think of right off is that Instagram. There's a lot of players that like our posts and engage with our posts. One guy in particular who was just very eager to work with the brand because he believed in the product, he loved the product, and he just supported it from day one. So I reached out to him and I wanted to ask him hey, would you be willing to manage our Instagram page? I don't have time to get on social media as much as I would like. I like what you've done with your page. Do you think that you could do that with the Fantom page? And, he's done a phenomenal job so far. He's created a lot of engagement. He's actually on the West Coast. So me being in Atlanta and him being in Southern California, we already have a huge following out in Los Angeles or the LA area, Cali area. But to know that, he's creating a presence over there, I'm creating a presence in the greater Atlanta area. I mean, in essence, we're already coast to coast is how I see it. So just working with people and trying to find people who are hungry for the opportunity, who know what they're doing, that people want opportunity, especially in with what we have going on with COVID. People want an opportunity to do something unique and to build their professional experience. And really, if you look and inquire and just ask, you can find those people. Okay,
so that's awesome. First and foremost, to be able to create a relationship and a bond with someone that is not face-to-face, not sitting next to you, and you have been able to establish a level of trust to where you saw his commitment and he sees your passion and commitment level, and you all were able to mesh perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, have you experienced, I'm sure you experienced a situation where you trusted someone or you believed that this was the right person, but it did not work out, and, there was something that impacted the situation or your progress in a negative way. Have you had that moment?
Yeah, I've definitely have had, I guess, awkward or bad hiring experiences throughout, particularly the beginning of my company. People will have prior obligations that they have to tend to. And I wouldn't even really call them bad hiring experiences. I would just say that they were learning experiences on my behalf because with with one situation I can think of, it was just like our morals, our characteristics didn't necessarily line up. He felt like we just didn't have, we didn't align in the same way of thinking. He said some things that were very inappropriate and would offend majority of a lot of our clients, a lot of our customers. And, doing stuff like that, I felt like I knew him very well. But, with him saying those things, and I know it being very offensive, it was best that we did not continue that working relationship because it didn't align with the moral values that I wanted Fantom to represent. With Fantom, we represent, hard-nosed, being outspoken, being exclusive, removing training deterrents, being a blue-collar company who does whatever it takes to get the job done to accomplish their goals, not offending people. And what was said there, I feel like was very offensive. So, I think that he brought value to the team. However, that value can also easily be replaced. And also, if it offends people with, what's being said or how things are being done, I think that it's oftentimes best that we don't continue down that working relationship.
So, Brandon, we're really transparent on this show, and our listeners are always hungry for examples, right? So give us an example of some of the things that he said were so offensive to where it was not effective to have him as a partner.
Yeah, they were, I don't want to go into specifics because I don't want to create, problems down the line, but they were definitely racial sensitive comments that, again, would affect other people, would affect people, and would affect how they would view him. It wouldn't be a positive light at all on the company. And that's just not something that I would really stand for at all. It created a rift between us. And, we went to college together. I never really saw that side of him, but, he said what he said, and I knew that it was not in the best interest of the company and the long-term vision that I have for the company to keep him around. Though he, brought great value, and however, it could have very well been a mistake. I certainly forgive him because I'm a forgiving person, but at the end of the day, it was not something that I wanted to excuse or something that I wanted to just push under the rug, so to speak, because I knew that other people would be offended significantly. I was offended, and it wasn't something that we wanted to really move forward with. We terminated that. We stuck to our guns.
You have to have a certain level of standards and expectations, and you have the vision of how you want the company to be seen. And then you all had previously been friends prior to this, and when you go into business together, that's where that trust comes back in. It's like you knew this person from this realm, right? And then when you join together in partnership, new things are discovered because you never know a person wholly and complete because we're individuals, right? You don't live with them, you're not that person. And stuff happens and stuff come up. And, you definitely handled the situation well, and thank you for your response. And I know that, our listeners got it. So thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us concerning, trusting people? Is there a nugget that you want to leave with our listeners regarding trust? Something that is so profound, or not so much profound, but that will land.
I'll say follow your heart and lean on faith. Kind of touching back on that first question, lean on faith and follow your gut, follow your heart. Trust yourself. Definitely trust yourself and your intuition. Trust that you are gonna feel what's right and what's not. Because I would say that I may have had flags within myself, but I wanted to give somebody that I knew an opportunity. This being my first business, I felt like I did not have someone telling me, oh yeah, you definitely don't want to work with friends and family. You want to find people that you've never necessarily worked with to do these things. And that way, you know, there's just working relationships between you two. And that's the foundation of a relationship. That wasn't really told to me. So I actually did the exact opposite and sought out friends and family, people who maybe were closest to me, who could help me, not being privy to LinkedIn and the power of it. And again, Fiverr. But like just having faith in everything. I mean, when we started the company, we had to have faith we didn't have 1,000 pre-orders. We moved 1,000 pieces into the 1-bedroom apartment, removed furniture out of it so I could have space to put things together. So that required faith. Or like going to NFL stadiums such as the Falcon Stadium, the Redskins Stadium, the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium, Heinz Field, all of these stadiums, and going up to people and showing them video and asking them questions and surveying them about the product and their thoughts and stuff like that. That took a lot of faith because I didn't know what their response was going to be. I didn't know how they were going to receive this idea, this concept. It wasn't brought to market yet. So the only way I could really get answers on how to approach the market before entering the market was to go out and conduct these surveys. And at that point, I looked at the product as my baby. I looked at it as though I don't want you to say anything that's going to offend me about it, because this is like something that I've created that's helped solve my problem. And I want things to, you know, I want things to look to be good. So, so it all took a lot of faith, but I definitely lean on faith, prayer, and reflection to help me navigate through this whole process. You got to lean on faith, prayer, and reflection. And then you also, I have these 4 E's that I actually learned throughout my business endeavors. And it was evaluate, eliminate, evolve, and execute. So sometimes things may come and they may go. But at the end of the day, as long as you continue to change things and execute, you'll always find success in business.
Wow. That was amazing. And I'm sure my listeners got it. And whoa. So, Brandon, thank you for that. So we're going to move forward. Got a little question for you. Okay?
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Our next question from our survey: would you rather have 10 good marketers or 10 good salespeople? And when is it time to create a sales team instead of doing it yourself or myself, right? And can someone else be the best salesperson for my business? And that was the question. And I know there are multiple questions in there, so you can answer each one of them. If you need me to repeat myself, feel free to let me know, okay?
Okay. All right, I got it, I think.
Okay.
So I think in regards to marketers versus salespeople, I find that marketing leads to sales with minimal to no effort. If you are able to have it exceptional marketing, it's going to sell itself. And sales will just roll in through those marketing efforts, whether that's posting on Instagram or TikTok, creating YouTube videos, print in like magazines or TV, commercials on ESPN, product placement, influencers like NFL players holding the product and posting that on their social media pages. I feel like those are marketing efforts. So if you have those marketing efforts in place, I think that the product is going to sell itself, and you'll be able to reach far and wide with a ton of different opportunities because of your great marketing. Where if you have 10 good salespeople, you have your salespeople maybe calling around and advertising or educating educating the buyers on the product, or individual parents or coaches on the product, maybe big box retailers on the product. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you are effective in marketing and sell enough products through your marketing, have a solid marketing plan and execute that, I think that the sales are just roll in. We don't have any salespeople at this point other than like myself on staff. I've considered doing it, but I do have a marketer, and my marketer has done an outstanding job in just creating sales. So with this product, I think that if you have a good product and a good concept, I think that it'll sell itself. So just, getting the product out there in front of people, letting people see what it is, what it does, and kind of going from there, I find is very, very successful for sure. So I'm going to go with 10 marketers, 100%.
Okay. And can someone else be the best salesperson for your business?
Yeah. I do believe that that somebody can be the best salesperson other than myself for my business. Sales it's something that can be learned. There are great salespeople who are born, and there are also great salespeople who acquire the skills to effectively sell. So I think that you can train somebody to be an excellent salesperson. I find some of the best salespeople aren't pushy, but they educate the customer on the product. They listen more than they talk, and solving the problems or solving the questions that are posed to them about the product by the customer, and giving them the reassurance with the confidence to let the customer know that, hey, this is what we say it is. If you need anything, we're 100% here for you, and we'll be here. And we plan on being here for a long time. We're not going anywhere. So when a customer gets that reassurance and that confidence, it's kind of hard for them to not want to take the chance on the product, because the product is doing exactly what we say it's going to do, and it's innovative. So it's different. It's not anything on the market that's effective like it, that's durable like it. So I think that creating great salespeople, it can be taught, and I think that somebody could come in and be a better salesperson than myself for the product. I mean, 100%, I do think that.
Okay. So, like you said, it depends on the industry, and for your specific industry, digital marketing is what's best. And then it also takes a certain type of character of a person to have conversations with people and engage with them and educating them versus just being aggressive. So your industry doesn't allow for that. So when would you advise an entrepreneur to start designing their business from a team concept? Yeah,
I mean, that's such a interesting question, because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs try to delegate too early and try to find people who can do things at a professional level, but that costs money. So I started out on my Instagram, that cost, right? Like you incur expenses, and the biggest expenses for startups are, a space to do your business and your employees. So I think that, like, honestly, like, you have to really be able to do everything to a certain level before you have anybody come in and perform a task. Like for my Instagram, I started Instagram and social media marketing, and I didn't even have social media before this product. I removed myself from social media because I felt like it was a distraction. But when I got this company and this product, I felt that was the way. So I started those pages back up, and I ran those for a couple of years before finding somebody else, because the demand for the product gradually began to increase to where I didn't think that I could do both of them effectively. So I think that you just have to listen to yourself. You certainly have to be able to know whether or not the person that you're bringing on is doing a good job or a bad job. So the way to really do that is to be able to have some level of expertise yourself in all the different business demographics that you may want to outsource. And that way you can kind of, make sure that you're at least knowledgeable in the jobs that they're doing for you.
I laugh to myself because you end up answering the question that I have next. So, so when I'm listening to you, well, so when do you feel like the person should be able to do that? You know, is it this, is this? And then there you go. You answered it. So that is awesome. Now, what is the difference between a good leader and a boss? You're making my work hard for me now.
No, you asking some great questions for sure. A good leader is going to empower people. Yeah, no doubt. A good leader is going to empower people. A good leader is going to give freedom. A good people is going to invest in development and growth. A good leader is going to create people who are going to want to go off and do their own thing. You empower people. The people that I started the company with are now doing greater things. They're doing excellent things. Even the guy who is no longer, was that we talked about a little earlier, like doing great things. Everybody is doing great things. So like, is a great leader, you definitely put people in a position to be better than what they were. You add value to people, help people see their true potential, help people develop skills maybe that they didn't know they had, or new skills, or just, confidence levels. So you encourage them to want to take those chances and do things for themselves and on their own, where a boss is definitely going to be a micromanager, going to make you stress about what you're doing, make you no trust in that relationship. So I feel like a good leader is definitely going to be somebody who's going to develop people and add value to them. That's something that I'm big on, just not only in business, but in life, and watching like who I interact with and who I'm around is what kind of value are you bringing to me? What kind of value am I bringing to you? Because if we're not creating a relationship that's derived on value and we're not making each other better, we're making each other worse. So I definitely want to just be around people who are going to bring value to me, and I want to bring value to other people. I want to make people better. And, that's what I feel like it's a good sign that you're on the right track when you know people who you brought in maybe weren't in the position that they're in now, when, that you guys mutually decide that this isn't going to work. And that they're now bigger than the role that they started in. So that's what I'm all about. I'm completely okay with that, because that means that I myself am doing a great job with building people up and developing these people on a personal and business level to where they have the courage, the confidence, and the awareness, the tools to go out and execute something that they were doing on a larger scale while they were with Fantom. So, that's just kind of a part of it.
Wow. Well, I tell you, you should have a following of mentees, because you sound like an awesome mentor. And this conversation is just going with ease, because, again, everything I could think of is like you're just saying it. So, thumbs up. So have you been in a position where you had a boss but needed a leader?
Yeah. When I was working at Nationwide Insurance, it was my first job, my first professional job or career out of school after graduating college. And I worked for 3 different managers. All 3 of them really taught me a lot of different things while I was in that role. I definitely stayed in that role longer than I should have. I definitely had opportunities to move, either whether it was, to a different, to the home office in Columbus, Ohio, or to different roles within the company. And I was definitely comfortable with where things were and how things were. So I definitely opted to stay there. But I find that there were a couple managers who were leaders and who led by example, and would definitely, dive in and work alongside you and solving the problem. And then there were those who felt like they needed to summon you and hold your hand through the process and be a part of every single detail. They weren't good at handling stress. They weren't good at managing a large workload, but they required you to do that. So, yeah, it was definitely like, I learned a lot in that role of like, working under three gentlemen. It was like, okay, well, this is a good way and this is what you should do. And this is a bad way. This is what you shouldn't do. And it wasn't just my experience. It was a culmination of the team because we worked in teams there. So you could tell what managers created a great team environment and what managers didn't based off of the teammates and how they were motivated, how they performed on a regular basis in the office. So taking those things and really trying to carry that over into Fantom, so that a lot of that was personal development. I learned so much at Nationwide because it created me. It allowed me to really know how to truly multitask, how to really be professional in a very hectic, busy environment. It definitely laid a very solid foundation to be able to manage what I'm doing now. It didn't feel like that at the time, but now when I look back at it, a lot of what it gave me was the confidence to go out and manage my own business because of the busyness that job afforded me. So I thought to myself, man, if I can do this job effectively with this workload, there's no way that I can't do work for myself and be successful at it. So that was definitely where I got a large sum of that confidence, to where I knew if I were doing what Nationwide asked me to do consistently at a high level, which I was doing a great job for that company. I knew that I could go off on my own and do a phenomenal job as well.
Wow. Okay. You named it on thick, right? Because I like people, managers, ex-managers, ex-employers, different people ran through my head, and you were identifying the boss versus the leader concept and ideology and the micromanagement, and then holding your hand and being afraid to allow you to be your own person and really be empowered to do your job, right? And to contribute versus someone, who is all for your growth and development and building you up. Okay, so I have another one for you. Now, when you hear me say the only time I look down at someone is to extend a hand to pull them up, what comes to mind when you hear that quote?
It's all about value. It's not about, I'll leave the judgment to the man above. I'm not here to judge people. I'm not here to make people feel less than what they're worth. I'm all about trying to elevate people and trying to increase their perception of themselves, to make sure that their confidence is higher, to put them in a better position to succeed, whether that's in business or life, financially. I'm just all about, again, adding value to people. I want to add value, and I want to look back and I want to know really as I'm living that whatever I touch is going to shine. Whatever I touch is going to be better than it was when I found it. That's really like my perspective, and how I want to move forward. Is just, if I'm in my neighborhood and I see a piece of trash, I'm picking it up. If I come across trash, I'm picking it up because I want to make sure that things are in a better position than they were when I found it. So if that's what that is, that's what it is. And, I just want to make people better. And that's kind of what this product does. Our flagship product, the Fantom Throw Football, it makes people better. It adds value to people. It doesn't make you a worse athlete. It allows you to practice around the clock using a door or a fence or a gate or a tree to get reps in over and over again. So that creates value, and we've been able to do that on a worldwide level. All 50 states, 6 plus countries, 4 continents. So we're all about creating value for people, no matter what, no matter if it's, they feel like they may be better than other people, or they may talk down toward other people. it doesn't matter. That's the judgment thing. That's not really for us. We're just all about adding value to people, making sure people are in a better position. And if we can do that, we're successful.
Man, when I say, Brandon, if people don't get blessed from this conversation, I don't know what planet they're on because this is powerful. This is so much food. I'm telling you, I'm getting full. So I just want to say, first and foremost, this is a great conversation. And are you ready for the final question?
Yeah. Keep them coming. I'm really enjoying myself.
Awesome. I'm loving it. Okay, so the final question from the survey was, what are 3 pitfalls you have seen people fall into when it comes to doing the work of having a successful business? So here we go. I'm listening. I'm ready. Hand in hand.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if I can just name 3. That's hard to do, but yeah, it requires a lot of adapting. People not having the ability to adapt or being resistant to change. You look at I saw an article about the last standing Blockbuster, and how that Blockbuster, that one Blockbuster is the only one that's still up and running. Blockbuster, had an opportunity to continue to dominate the market for forever, but they didn't want to change. They felt that their model was foolproof. So I feel like that you have to have the ability to change, to be different, to have faith, and that's again where faith comes into, because you may have something that works well, but you realize that there's holes in it, but you want to stay with what you know and not take a step out on faith to maybe change something small that would have a huge impact on your company. So not being able to change, being lazy, not willing to do the work and put the time in. Running your own business isn't easy. I feel like a lot of people really want to go out and run their own business because they think that it's going to be easier than working for somebody else. When you work for somebody else, you may have to work 6 or 8 hours a day. Well, when you work for yourself, you may have to work 16 or 20 hours, and it's just you. So you have to be able to put that time in, able to motivate yourself to continue to do it and do it on a consistent basis for you to really get the level of success that it takes for a business to have longevity in this economy, especially, to be able to balance through the ups and downs and really do whatever it takes to get the job done. And really improper planning, not having a backup plan. I hear a lot of people saying that, I just have one plan and I'm going to go 100% at it. But, there's more than one way to really skin a cat. There's more than one way to get to that final destination or that final goal that you want to accomplish. So just being able to pivot and change and do whatever it is to get to that point of success is very important and impactful. So I'll say that that's the last one. Just the ability to having a backup plan is very important.
Wow. So can you give me, because this is just like so rich of a conversation, can you give me a few examples or an example of people that entrepreneurs that you met and you saw that believe or perceive or had you had the perception that they were doing that, but at the end of the day, half of those 8 hours people be pretending to work in a sense, and they realize it's real being out there and trying to be an entrepreneur and wearing every hat until you can actually be able to create a team and you have the experience that is necessary to say that I have been there, so I know what the expectations are and what I should expect in, and how a conversation should go, how to post to sell, these different things.
I honestly think that most businesses have a greater opportunity to succeed than to fail. It's all about the founder and how resourceful they are. how much time they're willing to put into their business, how consistent they're going to be in putting that time in. Because, you know, a lot of people, for example, may be like, okay, well, I worked a 12-hour day yesterday, so I'm taking a day off. And it's like, but in order for you to be successful, you got to work 4 or 5 12-hour days straight and maybe take a half of a day off. So it's like a lot of people aren't really, again, when you run your own company, you have to be willing to do things that you've never done before so that you can put yourself in a position to get things that you've never achieved before. So you have to go above and beyond, and you don't have a boss over your shoulder or a leader over your shoulder telling you, hey, like, you're scheduled for this. You're scheduled as an entrepreneur to continue to work until the job is completed. And a lot of people aren't built like that. So I think a lot of people don't succeed because they maybe have a feeling of, oh, I've been working too long and I'm tired, or I want to go out to eat. I want to reward myself. And it's like, you have to really just keep your head down and keep going and keep grinding. And I think that that's really where you're going to find success. I think most businesses, again, have the opportunity to be successful, but I find that what I think is that a lot of founders don't necessarily want to put that work in to literally do whatever it takes to get the job done. I'm big on actions, so I don't really care what you have to say. When it's all said and done, I'm looking at what you're doing on a regular basis because if you look at actions and the consistency of those actions, they're going to trump words 10 out of 10 times.
I like how you said that the actions trump the words. And excuse me. So, have you had people that you knew that were on a successful track? They had the discipline, they had the consistency, they were taking the risk where they counted, and they were taking that action, right, versus just talking about it. But then end up getting stuck in a pitfall to where they couldn't come up out of it. They could not get over that hump.
Yeah. I've seen people along the path is being an entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs work alongside each other because maybe there's an entrepreneur, for example, who's going to be great at PR and I need PR, or great at marketing and I need marketing. So that's kind of how those situations are. Sales, bring a salesperson in who, you know, there's a sales startup guy that I've encountered on LinkedIn, and he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he knows that he's a great salesperson, so I'll work with him. A lot of it is that adaptability to continue to do things that you're not comfortable in doing, to put yourself out of your comfort zone, to be resourceful, to look for answers, and being resilient and looking for those answers, because maybe it's not going to be on the first page of Google. Maybe you got to look on page 10, 12, 13, on Google for you to really know or find the answer that you're looking for. It's just you have to be willing to go far and wide over and over again. And I think that's where some entrepreneurs maybe don't do it, because there's always, to every problem, there's a solution. To every situation, you can find an answer to it to help you get better, to help you continue your business, to help you maybe get a little bit longer of a situation. So it's all about, I think, just being resourceful, being resilient, having a tenacity about yourself to where you're not going to take no for an answer, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to keep things moving forward.
Wow, Brandon, this has been phenomenal. And I just really want to, before we move forward to the final portion of this conversation, I just want to, your 4 E's: evaluate, eliminate, evolve, and execute. You talked about faith and you're walking in the challenges and having some stick-to-itness. and talking about adaptability and being disciplined and being willing to take the risk while being on the court, you know, how actions trump words any day, you know, because we all have a lot to talk about and say. We have a lot of dreams and visions. However, without the action being put in place, without that action, then all it is just dreams going to the grave that was supposed to be out in the world for people to have access to. So,
right.
So many times.
And not to cut you off, Nakia, but the dreams thing, I wanted to say something about that. Like, I think that's very important, is to acknowledge what it is that maybe you're dreaming, and know that if you really dreamed it, it is something that can be done. It may not be as easy as it was in your dream, but if you had a dream in regards to it, it is something that could very well be accomplished. And I feel like that's something that you almost have to listen to within, you know, yourself. It's going to take a lot of work. You're going to definitely feel like quitting some days and feel like not wanting to do it anymore. And that's going to be really one of the things that's going to make you resilient and resolved and be better. But at the end of the day, you know, like if you dream it, you can easily get it done. You can easily make it happen. It's just all dependent on how bad you want it.
Wow. Well, I'm hearing noises. Hold on. That is right on point, and you just summed it up perfectly. This has truly been a great conversation, and I know that our listeners, our participants, are able to take so much and, you know, utilize it. And that's what we do, and that's what we desire from every conversation we bring forth into the universe, to empower people, to not just lift people up, but to give them something to stand on and something to work with, you know, give them some type of direction. And they could be one word that you said that makes the difference in the listening of an individual that has them step up and step out on faith. It could have been a statement. It could have been your 4 E's. It could have been someone needing the reinforcement or the confirmation that, man, you know, this was the dream of mine. And difficult, however we see it, okay, that's what we have other people around for. That's why we have mentors. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, Brandon. We're going to move on so we can go ahead and wrap this amazing conversation up. Not that I'm rushing it, but being respectful of time.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Brandon, how can our listeners learn more about Fantom LLC?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Our handle is Fantom USA, FANTOM USA. You can find us on, again, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And then our website is phantomusa.com. We're also on Amazon. You can just search Fantom Football. Again, let me spell that. It's FANTOM Football or Fantom Throw. Just search that on Amazon, and you can see our listings. And yeah, we would love your support. We're made in the United States, so you know we definitely want to support and build local businesses and employ people locally. So yeah, any support that you could offer would definitely be appreciated.
Indeed. And I just want you to know, I checked out their website, I looked at the videos, and I was like, oh my God, I played flag football back then. My dad coached Little League, and, you know, I grew up around football and with football, and I know how to throw. Don't get the phone. I can throw that ball. I know how to play all positions. I love it. And, you know, I've coached Little League before, and I was like, man, if I would have had a tool like this, if I would have had a resource like this, back in the day. And if the little leaguers or the team would have had this, or even the high schools or whomever had this ball, this tool, there would be so many more greater players, because it's a tool to train you independently and individually. Like with what we have going on right now with this epidemic around the world, people can be in their houses and just throwing the ball around, right? Literally throwing the ball in your house, right? And it's coming right back in. So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
On the fence. So,
yeah. It's all about adding value to people, right? That's what we want to focus on, is just being able to make athletes better no matter what. In basketball, you can accomplish the same thing with maybe shooting a basketball at a hoop, retrieving the basketball and doing it over and over again. But with football, you don't necessarily have that opportunity. So that's kind of where this product kind of comes into place. And just, we want to add value to every football player, no matter the position. If you're a D lineman, you can get an interception. If you're a linebacker, interceptions. Running backs, you can catch balls out the backfield. Quarterbacks, you can practice throwing. So all football players, we try to add value to them. And just very thankful and blessed for the opportunity to have brought a product like this to the market.
You could be on C team, end up on A team in 30 days, y'all. What y'all gonna do? Go back and take a position, okay? And they'd be like, where you been hiding it? Okay, so I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm just saying, y'all better go check it out. So,
that's real.
This is absolutely amazing. I definitely look forward to your success. I look forward to you coming back and sharing with us how you hit that $2 million mark, right? $50 million mark, right? And how you have all of these professional athletes, these world-renowned athletes on your team and really supporting you in what it is that you're doing, and utilizing your product in a way that people can get how powerful of a business you have been able to create. And I really acknowledge you for your push, Brandon, for your faith, your walk, for building people up and allowing them and encouraging them to go out and build and grow and flourish and not be stuck in mediocrity. I really look for our listeners to have more than just value when they listen to our show, but to be able to come back later on and say, man, when I was listening to Brandon, when I heard his story, when I heard that conversation, and when he shared, it made a difference for me. And I was able to pick up from where I left off, or pick up from nothing, from scratch, from my blank canvas, and create this masterpiece of art and be able to deliver it out into the world and have so many people be touched by the impact that I was able to make when discovering a need and being able to fulfill on that need to make a difference. So that is what I desire for our listeners. That is what I envision our listeners will be able to do and reproduce when they engage through the listening of these conversations that I have with you and so many others. So anything else you want to say? Any other nuggets you want to leave before we walk on and we move on?
Just be hungry, be resilient, do whatever you really have to do to get the job done, and believe in yourself, and others will believe in you as well. So that's really, how I feel and like what I try to practice on a regular basis. I appreciate you having me on the show. I hope that that people can get some knowledge and value from it. I hope it, we at least can impact somebody's life and put them on the track to go after whatever it is that they want. And I really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for having me on your show. I really enjoyed myself.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you, Brandon, for being our guest. It was great. This was awesome. So thank you. I am Nakia Franklin, and you have been listening to the Nakia Franklin Show. Until next time, be safe out there. Come back and see us. We appreciate it.